Alright,
Good
so
job.
you.
All right, bring the meeting to order at 9:04 this morning. Do we have any past minutes or anything like that to approve? No, just discussion.
Pin over there, please.
And then as far as review, you wanna just get started on you wanna do the pamphlet first? To see if there's any additional adjustments and review or additions for tax incentives.
I read through it, it looked good to me.
I adjusted a little bit so it wasn't necessarily directed to builders, more homeowners. I changed the abated percentages to a flat percentage. Pretty much everything else stayed the same.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah, we get this out, we actually have a lot of movement on houses right now. Between the 4 to 5 builders in here now that's doing the smaller ones, like Caraco, he's doing 3 right now. Brad Pepple bought 2 lots down by the school. He's doing those 2 lots. Henderson just finished one up. Dennis Miller just finished that one up on Westward, and that's pending already. That was on the market over 38 days. That was a little bit longer than what he really wanted. Andrew's talking to a company now that wants to do a 6-plex.
Really?
Just off of US 6 along the tracks by where Decker Services is at. Land used to be owned by Habitat. So you would access, where Liz's mom lives?
Mm-mm.
So it's just right down that middle of that block. As you come off the school street there with that maple, you go straight across US 6. There's a pretty good sized lot back there. They want to put, I guess, a 6-plex back in there. Take it back, that's gonna be 3 or 4 duplexes. The 6-plex, the guy is looking possibly doing that across from the nursing home. Be on the back side of Willard's house.
Okay.
Is that zoned that way? Is that zoned for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, they had to change the zoning to put the houses on that because that was multifamily, and they kept this one at multifamily. And then I know the big housing addition off the Basket Factory, they're looking at that pretty heavily to develop that. Should know here in a couple months, but that's 36 units right there. But I did see a builder.
Where's the 36 unit going?
If it goes through this preliminary stages, but to extend Independence.
Oh, okay, on the extension.
Liberty and out to Basket Factory. Forget which realtor it was that advertised on her webpage that Butler's the place to go now because they're offering tax abatement to the homeowners.
Good. Good.
I've had a couple people say, well, about the tax abatement on that, I said, yeah, but this is a continuation of the properties that we already had a tax abatement on. It's not like we just boom, pop something up.
And I've seen a couple other older homes going up for sale too.
What's that?
Couple of the older homes up for sale that look like, I saw that blue one right on the main street north of town, north of town, that finally has a sold sign on it. I don't think that was up for sale for very long.
Oh, this one right down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is on the right hand
It was
side.
on the corner.
Yeah,
North Broadway.
North Broadway.
Yeah.
I don't think that was on the market for very long.
It went through a couple home inspections, cause.
Yeah,
Did it?
I think it changed real,
I think it failed the first home inspection, and then a new realtor, I think, and then it got inspected again, so.
actually, it's a guy that's living in Ukraine that's buying that. But he has
Is he?
family here,
Okay.
and they live just on Entry Meadowmere.
So you think he'll keep it? It won't be a flipped home or anything?
No, he wants it, so he works over there, lives, works, whatever, but when he comes back here to visit, his parents live here in Butler, his sister's gonna occupy it, from what I was told, in a minute, and so he just wants to be able to have a place to stay when he comes back.
Okay. Alright. What was your other topic? We had the
Yeah.
pamphlet and then,
Yeah, well, I put out there on the facade grant, but that was RDC.
right,
But next one was on the tax abatements.
yes.
And was getting those in as he works through them now, Cover Master, Multi-Matic, Therma-Tru, Forest River. So last year, they didn't do it, even though we asked them to give us a sheet of your charitable givings.
Mhm.
And because, and I won't say what factory, because we're live, but there's one factory that, was giving a couple $100,000 a year abatement, and they'd only given like 4,000. And I brought that to his attention. I said, you need to, and that was during the council meeting, because council votes on it. I don't have a vote on it, but I told him, your charitable giving versus what you're getting for a tax offset is not very good. We don't expect you to do all of it, but you should do a percentage.
Right.
Yeah, but 4,000 on 200,000, that's not enough. So, Heffelfinger was the police chief, then taps the guy on the leg and said, I'm gonna send you an application for shop of the cop. And they cut a check out the next day for $2,000. But I do wanna get on that, and look at that pretty heavily and call them out during the meeting if you're getting a good tax abatement. And I think if we do any other tax abatements coming forward, Chris and I talked about this before, probably should put a percentage on that you wanna give, that you need to give back to the community.
Well, and I guess my question too is, how do we help, I guess, in a sense, to make sure that our local groups know who has received abatements that would be nice to go to let them know, hey, there's ways to support the community through these different organizations. I don't know if there's some sort of benefit in that of just making sure because I'm gonna assume that the companies don't openly reach out and look for ways to give. I would assume that they will give once asked. So how do we make sure that the right groups, organizations, things like that know, hey, these are primary ones that I think you should make sure you make some donation requests to that, I don't know.
Yep.
I think it's something that.
We're talking about the tax abatements under charitable givings, how we definitely gonna call them out. Once we see that at the next, when they come in.
Yeah.
For the council meetings, stuff like that. But I know in the past, a couple of these I'll mention, have been asked to turn some people down. But you're right, they need to, and I don't know what a good percentage would be. I mean, I've seen some communities say, give me tax abatement, we expect 25% back as a community giving. Or I've seen them come back and just give it to the city, or they give some, to the schools or something like that,
Well, or do we even put
Calling Vicky.
some sort of standard on there where, before you put a percentage on, maybe we see, okay, when you get an abatement, put a certain within, every 6 months, you have to give us a report of who you're, and make that part of the requirement first and see how that works out. I don't know.
I don't know what we can legally do, and we'd have to ask Don, because
as far as, we can't require them to give.
Right.
It's part of the decision process.
I think you can, I think you can write it into the,
And that's what I want.
write it in there, and
I'm not sure if we can or not.
I don't want to
That's
say
what I-
it's not a clawback,
Right.
it's something similar to that.
But that's what we would need to ask Don for sure. I think every abatement you give should come with stipulations of you have to give. But I don't know that it can legally be done, but if it can, that's a good question for Don. Can we write this into this from now on? Because you guys are gonna wait a lot of money.
Mhm.
So we need to see something. I mean, there was, even at the county level, the API that came in, the only thing I asked him at the meeting was, what do you give? And he was taken off guard, but he sat down, he like, got up again, he said, oh, we actually do, we do this, 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 we do this. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that all day long.
Mhm.
You know, Little League sports, et cetera. Like, yeah, okay. Do all of those things. And they're getting, let's say they get $1 million and they donate 50,000, that's still a huge win. Huge win.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Well, and they're all businesses, they're for profit, so they're making a profit while they're saving too. So
Right.
for them to
Yeah.
give a small portion
If you're saving,
is not much to ask.
if you're saving 200 grand a year on taxes, you should be more than happy to give 50 grand, because
Yes,
I think on the back end, that's a donation, so that's another write-off.
you're still winning all day long.
Yeah, I don't think we'll put this together. Who do you leave off?
Well, I guess what I'm looking at is just like in a simple annual, like if we go through and at the beginning of every year, we just go, who did we give abatements to? And it's just creating a list and putting it out there
We have
saying,
that list, we can put that
right.
there.
So just notifying, these are the local businesses or agencies that have received abatements in 2026. And, you know, they are strongly encouraged at this point in time to make return donations to the community. And it's just something that you can
And last
put
year,
on social media. to
last year I
share.
had them give that. I had them give us what they've given back. And maybe we go so far as to say, here's the companies, put them online, put them on our page. Here's the companies, here's how much they're getting each year in tax, back from an abatement. Here's how much they've given to your community.
And I think that's the question, like you said, to Don. What can we do legally? You know, can we require them to show us a list
Right.
on a 6-month or annual basis? And can we put a stipulation of a percentage based on
Yeah.
the abatement that they're receiving within those years? You know, maybe it's a different one each year because based on their percentage, whatever it is.
Can we also, if they would come back in and apply for another tax abatement, could we put on or that point system, add community partner or something on there?
I feel
Can we legally
like
do that?
I feel like that's a question on there already.
So could that be tied to the point, so if you've got a certain
Yeah,
number of points to get the certain
Right.
status?
it's a question, and it's for the point tallies for how much abatement you get and whether you get an abatement.
Mhm.
But at the same time, how much of that can we actually require? Because that scoring system is only to help you guys decide if you're gonna give the abatement.
Correct.
So can we actually legally tie something to that?
Yeah.
And I would say it would be good for the community, you know, because we have companies with 2 to 3 stacked abatements. So they're not just winning once, they're winning 3 times.
Right. Well, and how many people really understand how abatements work?
Yeah.
In the general public
Yeah.
that don't know that that is encouraged, is to give back to your community. So I think the more that we talk about it, people ask questions, you get organizations, youth leagues, schools.
And everyone is always telling people that abatements do not hurt because it's money you wouldn't have gotten if it's unrealized gains. And that is simply not true. And it's not true in the case of Butler, because we have some companies that got an abatement for entirely new pieces of equipment and we lost the 30% for it. So you truly did lose on 30% of that tax to give 100% abatement. So it's just not true. And people don't understand that because of the marketing around it. And maybe that's a series of educational information on our Facebook or something to bring people up to speed on that. But
I can see that on land a little bit, you don't truly upfront, but you do, you don't, I mean, $10,000 piece of ag land, and you're only getting taxes off ag land, but once it goes into industrial.
right. But we would never abate the real property. We wouldn't do that. It's just the personal property.
I'm talking
So-
like on a tip or something.
Oh, yeah, yes, in that scenario, yes.
Which, you know, when Forest River bought this out here, we went, Rick Brown and I did, we went to, Conwell. And said, hey, they wanna buy this 75 acres. When they end up putting a facility there, we're gonna tip that, we want you to know that up front.
Yeah,
And first wasn't real receptive, but as we talked through it and then realized that there'd be 400 to 500 people out there, some of these people's gonna locate in Butler, kids gonna go to school here, now I'm getting my state money from them.
right,
And he, you know, brought that up too. Right now I'm getting ag taxes off of that. You put out a $15 million industrial project, I'm gonna start collecting on that. But right from the get-go, I'm gonna get my money from the state for each student. And
Yeah.
He was good.
yeah, I think the abatements and stuff need to be more transparent. And I think that this score sheet for industrial abatements probably needs updated based on what I saw last time I looked at it. And it's not to say abatements won't be given, but we need more back as a community. There's less and less jobs come with automation, et cetera, or jobs are lost, so. Of course, a bunch of this might go away at some point soon anyways. I mean, maybe not on our big stuff, but they are taking away property taxes for anything under 2 million soon here.
I heard that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, under 2 million over the next couple of years. So any personal property under 2 million will no longer be taxed, so they don't need abatements. And it'll be interesting to see how that, I don't know how, I need to look it up and see how that's split out. So is that, can I buy a 2 million piece of equipment and separate that off on its own, or does it count towards the total tally for the company? I'm not sure. You know what I mean?
That's the question.
Yeah. Because if I consider that a singular $1.8 million investment,
How many different businesses are you gonna see split
yes.
because of that, just right there? That's what we're waiting on.
Yes.
And hopefully that's not the case, because then that's learning how to cheat the system,
Yes.
and it's gonna hurt our community,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Okay. Any other topics of conversation? Andrew, did you have anything
I
on
like
here
this.
that you wanna
So,
change?
yes, no, I think we get moving on this, get it into place and start circulating these things.
Okay.
We, you know, obviously care about homes, et cetera. There is going to be, hopefully a development across from the school of multifamily, like nice townhouses and stuff. So we're trying to get all different types of homes in, so.
Right now, I think we've hit on 3 out of the 4 markets.
Yeah.
Only we haven't tapped into is a tiny homes,
Mhm.
but we're hitting that, you know, 200 to 225 range. You know, this one out here on Basket Factory, they wanna hit that about 375 to 450, in that range there.
And then multifamily,
Multifamily,
when I hit that, you know, the townhouse style,
Mm-hmm.
trying to hit as many different
so I told them that.
demographics as possible.
Get this going now, we've got a lot of housing going, and there was a realtor that put this on the website that Butler was offering tax abatement.
Nice. Yeah,
Okay.
I like it.
With all the projects going, potentially within 4 years, with all what's going on here, Butler's population could increase by about 10%.
That'd be nice.
That would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
That's pretty phenomenal, I mean, that's 270 people.
Yeah.
And if half of those are, let's just say 25% of those are kids going, that's another 70 into your school system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice, because all schools right now are losing
Yeah.
kids. And it's just lower population.
Yep.
So,
Apparently, I didn't realize, heard the other day that we're not meeting a replacement threshold across the globe. I didn't realize we had gotten to that point. People are not having kids, and we are actually falling below the population replacement.
yeah. I think things are getting so expensive that people are really starting to think twice about having large families, because they can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, the people that were gonna have 2 or 3 are now 1.
Yeah. Or none.
Yeah, can't afford gas to run 4 different kids to different sporting
Right, sporting
events,
events,
you can't afford to feed them, you
Yeah.
can't afford daycare, yeah.
You'll sit at home and like it.
What's the tax rate involved with all that?
I gotta look, I am not sure, I think I got 2 of them in, I need to email the other companies today and make sure they get theirs in. And then I'll get them for council,
What's it, like July or something?
June or July, I think.
We talked about it,
I'll find out today and let you guys know. I have other things and haven't kept track of that, but I will find out today. Send the other companies, I'll ask them for their information, their givings across the board, and for them to come in and talk to us. I want all 4 companies to come in this year. Last year, they were invited, not all of them came in. But this year, I'd like all 4 of them to
and
come in.
not all of them gave the charitable givings either, so I would say, don't show up to the meeting unless you got that stuff.
I'll get an email out either today or tomorrow to all those companies.
Okay.
So, but I will look up the dates. So.
Anything else?
I do not.
The only question I had too, Mike, do we have any kind of update or anything on grocery store? I mean, I know,
Had a good conversation a week ago with a group that's biggest thing is trying to maneuver through the bankruptcy.
and that's what I was gonna ask is how long?
But I did have a guy from,
Did he file bankruptcy finally?
well, I should say bankruptcy, foreclosure.
I was gonna say.
I did talk to a guy that owns Salvatore's out of Fort Wayne, called him, had some interest in that, was wanting to know a little bit about it. It sounded like he was just interested in buying it and leasing it out to somebody if we had somebody in line for the store. I said, well, we do have somebody in line for the store that we've already met with, but I'm not sure they're gonna want you to buy it and they lease it from you.
Yeah,
Their vision is to own it.
own it.
And actually, I had, that meeting in a grocery store, Jeff Kaiser came up and he sat there for 2.5 hours with people, so going through what. They asked him a lot of questions and things like that, but, so they've reached out, because the guy from Salvatore said he's been dealing with Old National Bank. I said, well, they told me I had to go through the auction before you do anything. So he goes, well, I've been dealing with them, so I told these people that
He probably has lines of credit.
he was.
Yeah,
Probably has lines of credit with them, so he's talking to the commercial officer.
Right.
Yeah, so these guys we talked to went down, made a phone call, and was really, lady was real rude about it, same way she was with me when I called. But then last week, she called them back and said, yeah, we can work something out if you wanna buy the note. So they'd have to give exactly what's owed on it,
right.
which is a pretty good chunk, so you gotta be willing to do that. If he wants to get into it quickly, because if it goes through the
Yeah,
foreclosure, you know, as well as I do, how long that's gonna be.
that's what I was afraid of, is I was like, if it sits there too long and it gets tied up.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous that then we're looking at years.
But in all honesty though, everybody's probably been looking for the last year and a half, 2 anyways, as far as not shopping or getting with, so we've already got into that groove of not shopping at Butler. Not to say what they have planned, I think would be a good, they put it to be like a country store, is what they would like. I think it can work out pretty good,
Just,
but gotta have the
to
funding
have
there.
anything back would be
There's.
very nice.
Every day I hear about it.
Oh, I'm
Asking
sure,
questions
I'm
Every
sure.
day. Yeah,
I'll be surprised if they buy the note. Because if it goes to foreclosure, they're gonna get it a whole lot cheaper, probably, 70 cents to 65 cents on the dollar on the note.
That's kind of the thing, he's gotta decide whether he wants to get into it now, pay the extra money, or wait a year or so to get into
It'll
it.
be about a year, because They have to do it by publication because he's not available to be served. Which is normally 150 days to do that. You have to publish it 3 times.
I don't know how that changed ownership though in Beacon. April, it went over to K&Z Realty, and Rackford and Sultan was off of it.
I don't, unless they just picked up the lease, instead of the ownership, which I'm not a big fan of Beacon. Trust me. It's not always updated. It's not always updated.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no,
There's,
there's,
it's sale day like April 17th of this year.
yeah, no. That's when he announced he was closing about that date.
Yeah.
So,
It would be interesting if, I don't know how you do it, I'm just thinking totally off the wall, outside of the box, but it would be really interesting to, if there was a way you could partner with some of our local companies and in that sense to help.
mhm.
To where, okay, if you guys knew of somebody that wanted to buy the note but didn't wanna spend that money, is there a way that
Giving could make up the difference.
giving could make up a portion of that difference so we could get it done sooner?
Yeah,
Because that's only gonna help our local businesses too, because how many people get off work and wanna go grab something at the grocery store real quick before they go home and go, cook dinner or something like that? Or they need something for lunch. I mean, how many people ate lunch there when they did lunches?
Yeah.
That would be interesting to me to start having those conversations in that sense, because that would help our entire community. You're looking at me like I'm in trouble.
go on. Tell me more about these conversations you're gonna have.
Not me. Hey, you have the connections with the businesses, not myself. I will gladly tag along if you would like an assist.
It would be, if you really wanna help out this community.
I mean, that, to me, that
This
would be
is
huge,
your perfect
right?
way. We can put up your signs on the side of the
Because
building.
you are literally helping
Yeah.
the entire community,
Yeah.
not age specific,
No.
not
You're helping
organization,
everybody.
you are helping
Yeah.
everyone.
I love that idea. I love it.
I mean, I can't imagine, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
For our community?
Put up permanent signs on the side of the building.
Yes,
These are the companies that help make this possible.
yes.
Yeah.
And,
Kind of like a co-op, but not.
Yeah.
but it's a one-time.
It's a commercial
Donation.
co-op.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a donation.
Not a
It's a-
co-op,
right.
it's a donation.
It's a donation, but it's a one-time startup donation, I guess is the way I look at it. And then it's also betting the people who actually buy it, because it's not strapping them so tight, and that's allowing them for additional longevity in this business.
Yes, that's a good way to get it started. That's,
Somebody posted on Facebook when I like posted this, and someone brought the same thing, why can't some money be given to some new owners to get this off the ground? And somebody commented in, isn't that socialism?
not if it's a donation.
And
Mhm.
I thought, we're talking grocery store here, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a donation.
Well, and listen, I guess from the other side of it, from a business standpoint, you would look at it and go, why would I wanna get, like, I have to trust that person too, right? Because no company's just gonna dish out a certain amount of money if they don't see a plan. So we've gotta have somebody ready to go with their plan, solid, that can sell it to these businesses. So it doesn't matter where you go talk to them, I go talk to them, whoever. If we've got somebody lined up though that's serious about it.
Yeah.
Help us help you, help the community, help everybody. And I think if it's done right and set up right and.
And it would behoove them to have another draw like that, to bring people in, to provide workforce.
And that helps
Proximity-based
your
workforce.
housing too.
It does.
Like, again, who wants to build a house here when you don't even have a grocery store?
Right.
Why, so I think we've talked about that vicious cycle, but if we can put all these little pieces together all at the same time, it keeps everything going. It keeps that healthy circulation.
It's kind of similar to what AE does when they open that coffee shop up there, they put the money into that, but they made sure that person that they wanted to do it was, I mean, they went through a rigorous interview process, and they had to feel real good about the people going in there and buying into it, and they had to have that same vision and stuff like that. And they said, you know, that person, after our interview process is 110% wanting to get this done and be involved, this is that, we'll help them out. But if we got somebody that wants us to kind of lean on us for the day to day, then that's not a good, fit.
Because it's not their area of expertise,
Exactly.
type thing.
I like that idea. Just need someone who's interested and wants to put the actual business plan in a form that it can be sold to companies as, this is a good investment. Mayor's taking notes.
Well, the biggest thing is just getting the property out of the bank's name.
Yeah,
100%. How do we get it available for
Yes.
use?
so it's not tied down
Yeah.
for
And
ever.
That business plan is kind of similar to what we're working with on the daycare.
Mhm.
You know, trying to get the other industry to buy in and
Mhm.
give money to it. Just insert grocery store.
Mhm. Yep. Okay. Good to go?
good to go.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Hey, tech guy, could you stop that?
What's that?
Tech guy, could you stop that?
Tell me how.
Go up top right.
And